Cheers to you. So as a community, as a group, as as friends, as colleagues, as family members, as spouses, as whatever, lovers, as whatever we are to each other, in our many different kind of relationships we have. One of the most beautiful gifts that we can give to each other is to hold being for each other, to hold presence for each other, and to remind we all need it. I mean, I need it. I know I need it all the time. So, and this is why I'm so grateful for doing what I do, as my profession, because it always gives me a chance to reflect on these things with you when you come, and to share, and to always try to be to embrace these things. And anything that we do, we can always add to this. It can be something as simple as going to the store, or I know if you go to the store. I went to the store yesterday after several months of not going to the store, so or holding a Zoom. So there's this idea of doing and being, and just finding that balance. How beautiful doing is when it comes from being, and how ugly doing is when it just comes from an awareness, from lack of awareness. I was this was a couple years ago, at least, because before COVID and everything. So it was some time back. I went to the Starbucks here. I used to go to the Starbucks here in the corner of Tinken and Rochester Road to I had a couple hours before I had to pick up Ariane or something, in Mondays, and or before I had to pick up the kids. So I would take there my computer and have a tea and work on the book. I was working on the book, and one day I got there, and there's just one person in the counter doing all the drinks for the people inside and the people through the drive-through. So imagine, like, I wanted to start doing drinks. I said, can I help you somehow? I mean, it was a young woman, I don't know, 23, 24, and she looked so struggled out, like, and you could see the effects of stress on her face. It was heartbreaking, and it was so not that she was ugly, she was pretty, but it was ugly to see. So, and this is what we do ourselves when we put ourselves through this stress, and that just comes from she was doing her best to obviously keep the shop together. But this is where we really can support each other here. No, it's like, okay, obviously I could not make any drinks. Was not. I could just smile, and I reminded her to breathe, and she told me, "Yeah, sure. If you were where I am, see how much you breathe." So use Marty pants with Buddhist teachings. But it's very precious to hold each other with this kind of love of, hey, this is precious. So so this is really the message here. Okay. For the sake of sticking to the program, I'm going to introduce the next practice. And all the practices are one practice in essence. So in page 141, the practice of centering and purifying breathing with sound and color. This practice and the practice that comes next, which is the practice of the 5 elements, these are both 5 element practices. This one that we do now is a bit more fundamental, like it works mostly just with 2 polarities of fire and water. And from that union, the other elements come up. So, but they are both very, very exquisite practices. I especially like this practice of using sound and color with the purification breath. This is a practice, I must say, that I actually put together myself. This is not a practice that I learned directly from anybody. I use elements of, obviously, once I was in a flight, and I was too tired to move my arms, to do the alternating nostril breathing. It also looks kind of funny, what's this guy doing there in the flight, the person right next to you said, well, should I call the pilot, So I just simply started inhaling up from my foot to the head and out. and then in from the other foot and out. And I saw how well I was feeling. I said, oh, this is pretty nice, you know. So then I added the concept. So all these are different concepts that, you know, the idea of one channel being the moon channel and the other channel being the sun channel. So this is in the yogas. And then the colors, you know, that go with the channels, the blue and the red. And then the idea of the sounds, Hrim and Shrim. Hrim and Shrim are actually two sounds that are goddess sounds, or are the two Shakti mantras, Bija mantras. But one has more of a solar energy, it's more like a dynamic, and that corresponds to the right channel. And then the other one is more like a witnessing channel, a bija sound, and relates more to the mind and relates to the moon channel. And it's actually the channel and the sound that it's very nice to use as you're falling asleep, or is in the position at the time of death. If one had a choice, ideally would die sitting if possible for the central channel, but if not, one tries to die laying on the right side, blocking the right channel and allowing the left channel to flow freely. Okay. So the most basic aspect of this practice is just bringing the breath from the earth or from the foot up into the brain, and then letting go down the other side. And we're gonna stand. So just to get a sense of our. So if you can stand. And so this is very simple. So imagine you are inhaling up one side and then exhaling down the other side. So there's a way in which we do this in Qigong too. Okay, so you inhale and then exhale. It's almost this like ocean wave. Inhale and exhale. In and out. In in. So I guess everybody can do this. I don't think this has any difficulties. Okay. So to this you add the color. Okay. So you're inhaling, and up the left side you inhale blue. Yeah, blue. And out the right side you exhale red. And up the right side you inhale red, and then you exhale blue. So at your own pace. If the colors are too complicated now, don't even worry about the colors. Just get the sense of inhaling up from the toes to the crown, and then exhaling down the other side. Okay. So, so I just wanted to do that standing for you to get the mechanics. It seems that sometimes if we move to get the mechanics, it's easier. So now you can sit back on your chair or whatever you're sitting, and so bring the attention to the breath, And we incorporate all the elements here. You know, we incorporate the awareness of the body, the awareness of the breath, the awareness of the awareness, the motivation, everything. It's just, you know, you cannot separate. It's like, you know, once you have learned something and is integrated, it just naturally manifests. You don't have to think about it all the time. So inhale up the left side and exhale down the right side. And then inhale up the right and exhale down the left. Keep doing that at your own pace. The dynamism of the breath, observing the breath in movement here, alternating, is very useful, because one of the issues we have when we are doing, and you can stop for a moment now. One of the issues we have when we practice meditation or when we just want to soothe our minds, it's like there's so much activity in the mind, you know, like it's almost like when you look at a computer, like you think there's maybe 6-7 programs open or whatever, but in the computer, to have those programs open, there's like probably thousands of processes running behind. Okay, so even when you say, okay, I don't want to think about anything, whatever, there's still so much going on. Okay, so there's this dynamism that is happening, you know. So here what we're doing is we're actually saying, okay, I'll stay with something dynamic, but now I'm choosing, you know. So okay, I'm observing and the breath is moving, and the mind says, okay, I can deal easier with something that is in movement. Okay? And then the breath is moving out, the mind is moving. So you bring in awareness to the sensation of energy moving in the physical body. So we are uniting spirit, energy, physical. Okay, so then inhale again at your own pace, one side. I don't know if I'm going to complicate your life or not, but this practice has a third part that I didn't put in the book because I thought there were already so many steps. It's not necessary. It's somehow it's included in the final part, which is the pearl. Okay, but naturally, what will happen or might happen? So this movement, okay, that is from side to side. So this represents the lateral nadis. Okay. And then naturally the energy is going to move into the central channel. So what we're going to do now, we're going to inhale one side. We're still not adding the colors. For now, I just think doing the breath is enough. Okay. So you inhale and you exhale at your own pace. Okay. And then we're going to bring the attention into the central channel. And this practice is extremely, extremely, extremely important. We're going to inhale up the central channel and then exhale down the central channel. This is a practice that has many, many applications, and but right now we'll just, you know, it's just for us to get used to how to do it. So let's do 3 of each side. And so you inhale, start for example on the left, inhale up into the head, and then exhale down the right side. And then at your own pace, when naturally the breath comes, eventually this should feel like ocean waves. You see when you're by the ocean, or you know, or Lake Michigan waves or something, beautiful lakes here. So the wave comes back, it has a rhythm of its own. You know, you cannot tell the wave, come quicker, come quicker. It just, so here we're at a point in which we should feel so at ease that just the breath is just happening. Okay, so the breath comes and then just the breath goes. And then at some point, the breath just comes in again by itself. And then the breath goes by itself. So do this for a minute at your own pace. Now, this is not a mechanic process, okay? It's a process that it's happening by itself. There's an awareness to it, but you're bringing your awareness of observation of the breath, observation of the sensations, and especially this almost this reminiscence of the healing smile where you're just feeling the breath come in and there's this just sense of natural joy, this smile. You say, wow, this is good, it's making me feel well. I like it. Now we're just doing it for for you to get the to understand how to do the practice. Naturally, what will happen is like you just practice, do a few breaths of each side, whatever it takes, a few minutes. And at some point, you might notice how actually both breaths are kind of mixing. There's not so much one side and the other side. There's still a dynamism, but it's almost like you have entered the space where nothing comes in or nothing comes out. That's what we call the central channel. There's just this sensation of being in the center. Yep. So then is when you would bring the breath and just naturally from the below the navel, inhale up. And then from the crown or from whatever the breath reach comfortably, usually from the center of the head actually, just let it down. The only thing you have to do, really, besides observing the breath naturally just ascend and descend, is to activate an intention of softening. Like letting go of having to control everything all the time. Which, in day to day is very necessary because, we have to be in control. You're driving, you're whatever it is, you have to. But this is very, very intimate moment. Your inner polarities, there's no children here, so we can talk about this. Your inner polarities of left and right are the male and female, the Shiva and Shakti, the goddess and the god, have, like teased each other through the breath of the sides, and now are coming in union in the center of the body. So if we can be at ease, if we can be just rejoice our being, naturally this might manifest into a very beautiful sense of bliss. It's like the union of these two lovers when there's no two lovers anymore. There's not even one lover, there's just this love. And when this naturally happens, what happens is just the movement stops, and naturally there's no need to observe the breath coming up and down, just the breath naturally then rests in the abdomen. then bring the attention a bit firmer in the area behind the navel, and those lateral energies, the blue energy, the red energy, the energy of water and fire, or simply the energies of the breath, the energy of Hrim and Shrim, have mingled in the center and have created this inner self-luminous jewel. This is explained in the book. And so now what we want is just to firm up that inner light, so that it keeps radiating internally. And we hold our hands there on the navel, and we activate this intention that this inner union of the energies of fire and water, of the male and female principles, of our divine Father and our divine Mother, stay in harmony internally and stay united throughout the day, throughout the night, giving us a sense of well-being, a sense of clarity, a sense of a loving heart, and a sense of feeling grounded in this experience of being. And then through the natural union, like when you have two lovers, they want to be together and they want to do things together. So naturally that just expresses into our life, and whatever we have to do, go to work or do the dishes or, whatever, yell at your kids, it's one of my daily activities. Yeah. I'm subscribed to yelling at my kids. But we do it, I try to do it, from this union of inner lovers, from this union of the inner sun and moon. And our sense of individual I-ness then becomes this sense of universal I-ness. So then rub your hands and tap your arms. Smiling, feeling your body like golden, like a golden, beautiful golden, shining with well-being. And tapping in the face and the head, and tapping in the chest, and then tapping on the digestive system, and on the back, tapping the back, and then the legs, tapping the legs. Massaging the knees, so important, the knee joint. And then squeezing the feet a bit. You can either tap on them, you can also, it's nice to give them some nice squeeze. And collecting all these beautiful sensations, so they start, they stay vibrating around us in our surface, inside of us, and then we collect them even further into this source of all well-being and bliss in the navel, behind the navel. And then with profound gratitude to to our teachers, profound gratitude to our parents, profound gratitude to each other for making these sessions possible. Profound gratitude to our body, just profound gratitude. We feel so privileged, to have the time, to have the connection to the teachings, to have the interest, to take the time, and we or you can do it or you cannot do it, but we activate this profound desire of making our life meaningful by applying these practices, and the desire to explore our potential through gradually deepening our experience of our own awareness. And because all that is very wonderful, then we dedicate the virtue of our practice again. By the merit of having practiced healing meditation for the benefit of myself and all other beings, may all beings without exception be well and happy. May there be peace in all lands, prosperity in all households, and joy in all hearts, across all time and space. And may all the motivation prayers made for the well-being of beings become a reality. Especially we visualize, like all this virtue, all this goodness, generating a wave of healing through all these places where COVID is causing so much devastation. All these. There's so many problems in the U.S., in Europe, but especially places like India, Brazil, Nepal is having a terrible, terrible situation too. So may our practice, this practice that connects with our divine shared being and our divine shared mind, may provide some benefit, so that this thing can be healed, and especially that human beings can bring themselves to relate to each other and to this beautiful planet with love and with gratitude and with support. Wonderful.